Thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Christiana Scaglione, and this presentation is about the dams of the Southern Tier in New York. And this is through the American Public University system. I've decided to focus my project on the Southern Tier because this is where my husband grew up. His family is still here, so we will often visit. And I figured it was very important to understand more about the status of the environment and the dams nearby in our local towns. For an overview, we will be covering the study area, the purpose of each dam, and the fish affected by the dams. I've decided to focus on 5 dams found in the Southern Tier, and these include the Shenango 7 Wildlife Pond Dam in Bainbridge, New York, the Sydney Reservoir Dam in Bainbridge and Shenango, New York, the Fowler Finch Dam in Franklin, New York, the American Legion Pool Dam in Norwich, New York, and the Broome Corporate Park Pond Dam number 1 in Conklin, New York. For reference, these are all in the area between Binghamton, Ithaca, and Albany, if you're familiar. The purposes of each dam do vary. The only one that had an unknown reason for creation was Shenango 7 Wildlife Pond Dam, but the others have a more common purpose. The Sydney Reservoir Dam was created for flood control of the Susquehanna River. The Fowler Finch Dam was created for recreational swimming and fishing, boating purposes. The American Legion Pool Dam was created as a children's pool, and the Broome Corporate Park Dam was mainly used for water supply for Binghamton and Vestal and Johnson City. You'll notice that a lot of these dams do have similar removal dates, and that's because in 2006 and 2011, there were 2 big floods that came by that flooded the Susquehanna River and the surrounding floodplains. And this did impact the infrastructure of the dams and roadways as well. So you'll notice, for example, the American Legion Pool Dam was removed a year after the 2006 flood, and the Broome Corporate Dam as well as the Fowler Finch Dam were both removed in 2011 after those floods. So they already had damaged the dams, and so it made it really easy to give the green light to just take these out and help restore the habitat, the former habitat. Shenango number 7 and Sydney Reservoir dams were removed later in 2015 and 2018, and these were for management projects in order to help restore the natural ecosystem and help to provide back that habitat for those native species. These species include some Andromedas fish as well as Chadromedas fish. Andromedas fish are fish that will live their adult lives in the ocean and then will swim upstream into freshwater in order to spawn. And Chadromedas fish do the opposite. They will live their adult lives in the freshwater and then swim downstream into the oceans in order to spawn. Some that I've highlighted include the American shad and the blueback herring. The reasons why I've highlighted these is because they are goldfish used by the New York Department of Conservation. They are hoping that they'll see an increase in these fish, and they've specifically highlighted these two. Something I learned about the fisheries and the fish species here are that some of these fish swim over 100 miles, more so closer to 300 miles just to spawn. Now, the Susquehanna River, which is the main river that feeds into the Southern Tier, travels from the Otsego Lake into the Chesapeake, and that is 444 miles. So these fish can swim all the way up into New York from the Chesapeake Bay, which is located in the Virginia, Maryland area. Because these dams are located not only in the main river of the Susquehanna, further down in places like Pennsylvania, but also in tributaries, it has significantly blocked the spawning habitats and has diminished their populations, and in some places completely eradicated them. And we are no longer seeing all these fish that you see on the screen. So I thought that was very interesting about their travel for spawning. If you'd like any more information, these are all of the resources that I've used. Feel free to reach out and ask me if you have any questions. Thank you for clicking on this video.